Hello, everyone. Hello. I'm just going to give you a quick word about the origins of the two pieces this evening. The main feature is about half an hour long, and it's the dinner, and it's in reference to an item from the archive, which we have out here, which is a folder which is dedicated to a dinner. So whenever there's an exhibition opening, there's generally a dinner afterwards. And this was an exhibition from 1996 called The Director's Eye, which was to mark the centenary of European cinema. So there were lots of directors at the dinner. And if you go through that folder, there's a list of everyone who was invited, the people who could make it. It's even got their addresses in there. They might have moved. It was 20 years ago. But I thought this was an extraordinary convergence of egos, potentially. So I've reimagined that dinner. There's also the exhibition catalogue over there for the exhibition The Director's Eye. So you can see some of the artworks that are included in the exhibition. Things like character sketches by Eisenstein. So there's some phenomenal historical documents that you wouldn't ordinarily get access to. Apologies for this bit here in the way for you guys at the moment. This will move in a minute. You'll be able to see more, but I can't move the pillars. Apologies for that. The first piece is called In the End, I Will Always Love You. Now, this is a more general response to the archive in that I've worked with the exhibition catalogues. There's shelves and shelves of catalogues. They're generally published to varying degrees. Sometimes they're great big shiny tomes. Other times they're more ephemeral pamphlets. But there's generally some publishing that goes on in correlation with an exhibition. And I've written for a lot of these exhibition catalogues over the years, a lot of these essays. And I always find myself, the last sentence just becomes this great big moment of rounding off, and you feel you have to say this ludicrous, you have to make an incredible claim for the artwork. So I thought, is it just me or does everyone do it? Not everyone does do it, but there are a hell of a lot in the archive. There are these great big melon-like final sentences. So I've made a piece that responds to those. So while it may seem rather critical and a bit mealy-mouthed, this first piece, I include myself in this criticism. Right, so I think we should probably get on with it. I'm going to need those knee pads, so I'm just going to get them now, and then I think we'll go. thank you all for coming. It's wonderful to see so many of you could make it along to celebrate the opening of this very special exhibition, The Director's Eye, which, as you know, marks the centenary of European cinema. And actually, what an incredible experience it's been researching the work of these incredible directors who actually really, I think we should call artists, as I think this incredible exhibition testifies. There are many people who have helped me make this happen, and I'd like to thank them all personally, one by one. Firstly, of course, I should thank Ian Christie. We curated the show together, and I have to say that without Ian's encyclopedic knowledge and tireless energies, it would have been a shadow of the fantastic show it's turned out to be. And both Ian and I are unstinting in our appreciation of Astrid Brown, who organised everything, ably assisted by Rob Bowman. A thank you to both of you for your excellent work and dedication. And I should also thank those institutions whose financial support has made everything possible. So thank you to the Southern Arts Board, the British Film Institute, Oxford University Film Studies Programme, and DGX of the European Commission. We're also greatly indebted to a number of institutions and individuals who have provided advice and loans for the exhibition, many at unusually short notice. We're especially grateful to Bridget Canali, Margaret Hennessy, and the staff at BFI Stills, Poster and Designs, and to Janet Moat of Special Materials Information Services, and to Duncan Petrie, Director of the Bill Douglas Centre for the Study of Film and Popular Culture at the University of Exeter, and Eliza Poklewski-Kozil at View, Rowan Moore at Adventure Pictures, and Gianfranco Miragori at the Cineteca Rimini, and to Zygmunt Baranski, and Kevin Brownlow, David Curtis, Jane Gerson, Jeffrey Noel Smith, Claude Eric Peru, Columbia Powell, David Robinson, Thelma Schumacher-Powell, and Kathy Sorovic. And then there's the directors themselves, many of whom have trawled their personal archives to find items for us. So a huge thanks to Lutz Becker, who's here this evening, and Roy Bolting, I think, should be here too, as well, I think, and to David Curtis, and to the British Film Institute, of course, especially to Stills, Posters and Designs, again, and to the Special Materials Unit, again, and Library and Information Services, of course. And thank you also to Giuliano Galeng and to Peter Goodall and Peter Greenaway. Hello to Peter and Peter as well. Glad you could both make it in the end. And to Peter Jewell and Patrick Keeler and Malcolm LeGrice. And to Sally Potter, who sadly couldn't be with us this evening. And thank you to the estate of Michael Powell, and to the Quay brothers. And I'm delighted to see that we're enjoying the full complement of Quays this evening. Yeah, hello. And thank you to David Robinson, too. And, of course, the exhibition has a life beyond Oxford. Yes, there is life beyond Oxford. The Director's Eye will be going on tour to Mead Gallery in Warwick, York City Art Gallery, Rye Art Gallery, Hartlepool Museum, the Museum of Photography in Thessaloniki, Kirin Art Space in Tokyo, and Kirin Plaza Osaka. So a huge thank you to Rebecca Coates for organising all of that. And of course, I should mention the catalogue and all the people who have helped to put that together. We diners switch off after the first minute of thank yous. We don't think it shows much appreciation of our own effort and commitment on a Thursday night. Some of us have come quite a long way, many from London, some from the north, one or two from the US, although, to be honest, they haven't come especially for this. They happen to be passing in global terms. But still, we have all given up a precious evening which we could have spent serenading a producer, chasing skirt or trouser, or enjoying an early night before an early power breakfast. We hope that the food will be decent at least. There's bound to be lots of Australian wine, which has recently swamped the market with a tidal wave of hefty tannins. But there's no guarantee that the margarine and gravy have been scraped off this particular corner of England yet. There's no assurance that pesto has penetrated this far into the interior. And finally, I'd like to thank you all for coming to celebrate with us. Ladies and gentlemen, please raise your glass. Here's mud in the director's eye. I raise my glass and sip the hefty red. It sucks the juices out of my tongue, and it's heavy, but not unpleasantly so. It tastes of ruined tomorrows, which thrills me. The film director feels he must bring some substance and gravity to the table after all that talk of people merely doing jobs or owning things. This is not a dinner in celebration of admin or capital. It's in recognition of the power of great art, which sustains the beat in his chest, the bubbles in his consciousness. He stands. And here's a toast to demystification of the subject-object relationship. Please raise your glasses, ladies and gentlemen, to all attempts to define and verify the self through the vision of the other, through precision of vision, and through confrontation. I propose a toast, above all, to the three muses of manipulation: zooming, panning, and focusing. I lift my glass again to zooming, panning, and focusing, who blush prettily and restrain their smiles of pride. The film director dislikes the other film directors' films, but must publicly be seen to support them. It wouldn't harm to also be seen to be just that little bit more ingenious. He pushes back his chair, picks up his glass, and stands. Raise a glass, raise it, high, 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 glass raised. High rise, praise raised, higher to here, here's to rise, rise to here, to raise a glass on high, to raise, to glass, to high, your highness, our highness, here's to a high glass raised to us, raise us high to film, to high art and film, and raised glass on high. Shackled to the group, I smile and nod and sip to film. Personally, I'd like to take a breather, enjoy the splash of serotonin released by the last sip. But I must drown it with more Cabernet. This is for the pleasure of the social body, not of mine. The film director taps her glass with a fork. Her fingers mute what should be a ting. As the only woman director present, she feels an obligation to be heard and to represent her sisters, even if she isn't actually in the exhibition. But is it stereotypical for the only woman to speak on behalf of all women? The men speak on behalf of themselves. Would this be the feminist thing to do? Or is this precisely the sort of machismo they're trying to eradicate? The feminists have gone quiet in recent years. She has a little guidance. She will follow the feeling in her bowels. She taps her glass for attention again, but still it's muted. Her neighbor grabs the glass and spoon from her. He curls his fat, hairy fingers around the stem. The glass sings out. The film director pushes her chair back in annoyance and stands. And talking of raised glass, here's to the invisibles under the glass ceiling. Here's to the cleaners who will clean away our dinner, our exhibition, and our lives when they're gone. Raise your glass to cleaners in high rises. I perform the toast with gusto and take a hearty gulp. My mother was a cleaner. It was the only talent she had that she felt was real. No one had told her that you could make a living from lying or cutting corners or emotionally manipulating people. The art director raises his glass. He doesn't see why the film directors should enjoy all the attention. Without him, their films would look like everyday life. No one would know they were fictions. He's always had a problem telling fact and fiction apart. He misidentifies the director of a film or the author of a novel with its main protagonist. He thinks that what the fictional person says is what the real person thinks. Consequently, he's scared of most directors and tends to be unnecessarily aggressive towards them. He grabs his glass and stands. Here's to a bunch of fuckers. In the forests of shouts and jeers of put-on outrage, I can duck out of the toast without being noticed. I take a short rest. The film director's glass has been in his hand all along. The raised voices stir him from the inward drift that always happens during speeches. The sudden energy in the room revives him. He stands and shouts across the noise, which rapidly subsides. Praise be to the fight against the accursed pasta, which by its cumbersome digestion burdens the body and stupefies the brain. Only when pasta has been swept off the menu will enthusiasm, willpower, and imagination enter the creative genius of our race. Tango, tango, miniature of sexual anguish, spun, sugar, and lust. Lechery out in the open, delirium tremens of the hands and feet, pantomime coitus for the camera. Embarrassment rises from us diners like escaping gas. What are we toasting? Some attempt toasts to lechery, to sexual anguish, to cumbersome digestion. but most strike up conversation with the person next to them. Cigarette? Asks a woman as she lights up. It's unusual for people to offer, I think. These days it only ever happens in the old black and whites. I blame the government. Their taxes have made us selfish. The two film directors stand in unison and raise their glasses. To pasta. To tango. The room is confused. Have they misunderstood? Are they being facetious? The twins are made out of different stuff than the rest of us. What's logical in their world is to us either poetic genius or utter nonsense. And what makes sense to the rest of us does not exist for them. It's lucky that they have each other. The film director pushes back his chair noisily. He's not going to miss his go. His films are more popular than these arty types. He'll show them how to propose a toast properly, how to recognize the important things in life. Raise your glass, ladies and gentlemen, please, to this house of art. Let us toast the sculptural collarbones of beautiful women, the musicality of their laughter, and the architecture of a good love story. Let us rejoice in jackboots and pointy bras, in big hairdos, polyester rainbows, and palaces of polystyrene. To the fantastic reality of film, ladies and gentlemen. The diners wonder if this part of the evening is over yet. The film director recognizes that the time is right. He picks up his glass, stands, suspends everyone in silence for a powerful amount of time before releasing them into his speech. Ladies and gentlemen, so far this evening, we've been toasting the directors. Let's face it, pasta, tango, collarbones, cleaners, subject-object relationships, even fuckers are but euphemisms for the self that our friends here this evening draw upon. They wish to toast themselves, and why not, if you want something done properly. But apparently it's not their totality that's being celebrated in this exhibition. It's not their full genius, which radiates from them like invisible light, but simply their eye that we must toast. The director's eye, like the viewer, is a large, disembodied organ that floats above the world, looking down like God. The eye is the organ of enlightenment, the body but a messy heretic, a distraction from truth. I would like to invite the body back to the party. The genius should embrace the animal. The technological is nothing without the natural. The eye will always need a head to ride around in. Use your arms and souls, ladies and gentlemen, to raise a toast to bodies. we diners murmur to bodies. Take a symbolic sip of wine and then, as one, lunge for the water jugs. We are thirsty, hungry. The smalls of our backs are aching. Some feel a headache coming on. Others need to urinate. Someone needs a shit. Not desperately yet, but it's building. The film director raises a glass. Those who know him groan almost inaudibly. Oh no, they think we'll be here all night now. He notices the exchange of looks. Well, they'll pay for that, he thinks, and stands. And everybody needs dinner, of course. We should toast the dinner that we are about to enjoy this evening and drink to the many conveniences of the chef. We should toast the devices in the kitchen that have been used in the making of what, if these breadsticks are anything to go by, will be incredible food. Lift your glasses, ladies and gentlemen, to an artisan, a professional, a sage, an architect, a chefette, a diva, an American, a prima donna, a superstar, a magic bunny, a champ, a mini champ, a handyman, an explorer, my squeeze, a Spartan, a Diabolix, a traveller, a patissier, a forest capstan, a Kuchenhilfe, and the boss. Here's to a flume, a cornucopia, a pyramid, a soapy sponge, a tower, a form, essentials, choice, twin choice, a functional form, sweet rides, total control, a major premiere, a classic icon, an aura, a white line, an aspect, a prism, an apostrophe, cashmere, an alligator, magic, an index, an arena, an isotherm, a dream, a blip, the oracle, a symphonia, a pixie, le glacier, project ocean, purity, a scene, a mode, a hex, play, power, legacy, a fruitscape, a cone, infruition sport, pool control, applications, textures, impressions, color notes, accents, creation, sculptura, illumina, originals, la classica nuova, and nevitage. Here's to Helena, Venus, Eva, Anna, Anna Gong, Anna G, Anna Stop 2, Max Le Chinois, Millie, Marcel, Jacob, Callisto, Lupita, Mia, Marley, Millie, Juicy Salif, Scheherazade, Prospero, Marella, Gianni, Cellini, and Apollo. And to Oxford, Chester, Buckingham, Montana, the Mediterranean, Westminster, Tisbury, Santiago, Richmond, Chateauneuf, Greenwich, Paris, the Hudson, and Brazil French. Praise be to the smart, retro, prime, classic, traditional, functional, baroque, brillante, maestria, elite, pure, twin pure, sharp pro, original pro, pro-utility, oblique, compact, twin sharp, minute sharp, picantino, express, and micro. Here's to the ability to elevate, or quick snap, or easy tear, or flexi grip, or easy squeeze, or clean and store, or prep and serve, or grind and brew, or cut and carve, or rinse and chop, plus sear and stew, or multi-temp, or redefine, or chop, or soft brew, or fresh foods, or aeropress, or grab it, or emulsed it, or flip slice, or crush, or paraboil, or ultramix, or pick and mix, or fill and go, or chop to pot, or stretch 100. 1,000 hurrahs for the Magimilk, U-Milk, KitchenAid, Go Eat, Vario, Misto, we diners raise our glasses. To dinner, we cry in unison, as the doors burst open and the feast is carried in on silver platters by beautiful ringleted children who will grow up to be the best casting assistants, key grips, and transportation coordinators in the business. Thank you very much.